Hello, Swivelheads. We are on the eve of the NATO summit. In fact, it will start in just a few hours this morning. We are now at my time, 1:2600 hours Central Daylight Time on 11 July 23. Today is the day, and in just a few hours, this meeting will commence. And this meeting is alleged to propose, at the minimum, a NATO-light arrangement for Ukraine. Now, what does that mean? It could mean a lot of things, but according to sources I've seen, at a minimum, it means that there's going to be a more substantial commitment to provide weapon systems from NATO, or NATO countries at least, maybe from a block of NATO nations, to Ukraine. A firm, solid commitment. And it may not be from NATO directly, because that may evoke Russia to attack NATO in general. But there's some discussion I've heard that, there might be some outside NATO arrangement that somehow if Russia responds, it don't evoke NATO. The Article 5 says any NATO nation gets hit, then all are in. That seems a little fishy. I'm not sure that's what's really in the works. But at a minimum, it does, according to sources I've seen, guarantee some kind of extra commitment, extra security for provision of weapon systems, maybe more weapon systems or whatever, to Ukraine. However, the case is that all the NATO nations are claiming that they're running low on ammo. So how's this to be done? Well, one of the arrangements apparently includes the construction of factories in Western Ukraine, to include, I believe it's a German tank factory. I'll show you the article on that in a minute. There will be a tank factory put into Ukraine, which the Russians have already said they will strike with cruise missiles pronto. Well, any company from the West that's going to invest in those kind of facilities, which is going to cost probably billions of dollars to stick in Ukraine, is going to want some kind of security arrangements for their investment to put that stuff there in the first place. So this is more mission creep, more escalation toward a full-blown World War III with Russia. It's just we're stepping into it, sleepwalking into it. And there's going to be some kind of path to membership, but the 22 of the current 31 NATO nations actually want to bring Ukraine into NATO directly right now, which shortcutting all the typical requirements to become a NATO nation. Not the requirement you can't be at war. Of course, if that were to happen, it would mean automatically we have a NATO nation under attack by another nation, which theoretically would evoke Article 5. Entire NATO would be at war with Russia, although it's been pointed out that neither Ukraine nor Russia has actually declared war on each other. So, there's a lot of gray area here. There's a lot of things that are up for grabs, but this just continues to escalate. If we don't go nuclear, if we don't cross the red lines, this will prove to be at least a very long war. The commitment to build tank factories and weapon factories in Ukraine are multi-year commitments. It's not something that's going to pop up overnight and start popping out munitions. So this would be stuff that would be longer term. So this evokes the notion that both sides potentially see a longer term thing. But, we're kind of in the situation that President Biden made this huge faux pas mission where he said, when asked by a correspondent here in the United States, why are you providing cluster bombs or nasty? Why are you providing these to Ukraine? He says, well, we're running out of 155 millimeter weapons. And that is something you don't tell or telegraph to an enemy what you're running out of. And so the fact you're running out of that means you're vulnerable, you're wide open. I'm sure Xi Jinping really enjoyed hearing that. I'm sure he's sitting back, yay, bravo. Everything is proceeding according to plan. Yeah, guys. What does all this mean? Is this also going to tempt him to move sooner on Taiwan rather than later? There's other reasons for him to do that. I will share those with you in a video in a very near future. I'm going to lay that out. So we are on the precipice of things getting worse, things getting ugly. How worse, how ugly, how long? It seems so far we're on the slow cooker, long fuse. But is it going to get short all at once? Will it be shortcutted? Because as we run low on conventional arms, will we turn to tactical nukes? Will tactical nukes be a new norm that will be just considered a regular part of warfare, or will it escalate into strategic nukes? Or different schools of thought on that. And we haven't been here before. We haven't been in a war where it's okay to exchange tactical nukes on the battlefield and see if that doesn't escalate. We've never ever crossed that Rubicon. What happens when the nukes start flying? Well, the bigger nukes come out. Well, it depends on just how threatened the nations in play feel they are at that point in time, probably more than anything. If Russia deems that there's an existential threat to their existence, their continued governance, well, that crosses every threshold, and you bet you they've got all the whatevers it takes according to their nuclear policy to go full-scale nuclear. Also, bear in mind, they have a dead hand switch in Russia, which will be activated, which means if their command center is taken out and it doesn't communicate back to the system, it launches everything Russia has automatically. Yeah, just like in Dr. Strangelove, the doomsday device. That's about what it is, the dead hand switch. I've covered that more than once in videos in the past, so I'm not going to belabor that much. Look it up if you don't trust me, or go find my videos on that topic. I thought it was really interesting that Putin actually viewed that movie. Who was the American director that showed him to the one that did the JFK movie? He showed him that clip, and so I thought that was really interesting to see, how he's reacting to this whole thing. Like, the whole purpose of that movie at that point was, Dr. Strangelove says the whole purpose of the doomsday devices is to announce it. It's not to hide it. It's to be a deterrent. And well, actually, after that movie, even Russia had a system like that, and they hit it just like in the movie. Crazy stuff. But anyway, we only found out about it after the wall fell, when the Soviet Union collapsed. Well, they still have a system, unfortunately. So where could this stuff go? We don't know. Like I said, we've not been here. But we are getting in dangerous ground, and it's getting more dangerous every day. This is escalating. A war with a nuclear power can't be a rosy Sunday morning school picnic. Maybe some people think it is, but I have a hard time saying that. If you disagree, tell me in the comments and tell me why. Geez, guys, we're going to share some articles. I'm going to start my live screen over here, so who's in the house. We are late, but I want to do this video just to get out to you what's going on. And why is this thing doing this? And guys, I'm about to show you, we're about to walk through a series of articles, and we'll talk about this some more. But we are on the precipice of craziness. And we've got things popping. 116, very good. We got craziness popping up with regards to Iran, North Korea, China. We may be getting into it with all of them. It is, this is a bad place to be, guys. Hey, Survival Living, guys, he's got a great channel, guys. Check out Survival Living. Check out his channel. He's giving me a good shout out. I'll return the favor, guys. Everybody go over and see Survival Living. He's got a really good prepping channel. He's real matter of fact. He lays things out really good. So check him out. Everyone, go and subscribe to Survival Living. And thank you, Survival Living, for asking everybody to give me the thumbs up. Good channel there. Appreciate you. You're a good man. Anyway, so let's get on. Let's look at some of this stuff. Share the screen here. Oh, yeah. Turkey finally agreed to let Sweden in NATO. That will bring the NATO nations up to 32. If Ukraine should join, it'll be 33. I guess that would be the completion of the master's plan, right? 33 is one of those numbers, if you know what I'm talking about. Brian, armed rocket cars don't seem so crazy anymore. Hey, my buddy built a rocket-powered pickup truck, Tim Pickens. I've had him on this channel. We had rocket-powered bicycles and some of the stuff we used to do. We were crazy with rockets, guys. Anyway, I probably showed you all the rocket hot dog cooker on one occasion where we had a 4th of July rocket motor rocket hot dog cooker. Here we are. See, the Germans are opening this tank factory in Ukraine. And like I said, Moscow has already said they're going to hit it. And, German tanks coming after the Russians. Yeah, that's just the creepiest thing in the world to the Russians. The Russians are obsessed with the Nazi attack on them in World War II. They celebrate their victory on that many times a year. And I was there for one of those celebrations. I was in the building where the Duma meets, where they had a big opera inside the Kremlin in March of 2010. And so they really, and it was very well attended. It was a line to get in that place took for, oh, good grief. Come on, what's this stuff? There's the X. All right, NATO members discuss drop-in membership action plan. That is that action plan I was telling you where like Ukraine can't be at war. So this is from the one of the Ruski rags here, and so was this article too. So I got this is RT Today, which is a Ruski. I'm told I'm not supposed to be showing Ruski sites here on this platform, but I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just bringing you the news and I'm showing you the different viewpoints. That's all I'm doing. Hello from Louisiana there, Swamp Bell. Brian Stoffel, 1993 Firebird, analog space plane aiming. Yeah, rocket cars, rocket bikes. We've been there, done all kind of stuff. Rocket cars, rocket bikes. Guys, if this, NATO, Ukraine's future membership to be discussed by the list. Guys, this isn't just the regular meeting of NATO's. It's not the ambassadors of NATO. It's not the head generals. It's not the Joint Chief of Staff going over there. We got the President of the United States there. We got the heads of nations meeting at the summit in Vilnius, Lithuania, starting today. The heads of state, the heads of the nations. These guys don't get together unless pretty much everything's already ironed out. That's when they meet. Hey, Mag Rising from Alaska, how you doing? Wrecked toes. I get my toes wrecked occasionally. All right, so Nightman's wife, good to see you here. Guys, if this hadn't got it in your head, you need to be prepping. I don't know what you're thinking. So check out my prepwithgreg.com. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, we got a special running here, $80 off a 4-week supply of food. Each of these buckets is 2 weeks. That's 2 of them, 4 weeks. That's a pretty darn good deal. 2,000 calories a day, unlike some of the competitors, which think it's 800 a starvation diet is a day's rations. No, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. And this is food that'll keep for 25 years. The best thing about this, in my humble opinion, is these buckets and the bags it comes in, because you can bury this stuff. You want to hide some of your food. Things are coming up, guys. That's a good way to do it. Hey, Lady Kicks, how you doing? So this is a really good way to take care of stuff and keep it for a long time. Again, prepwithgreg.com. And if you're not into that kind of long-term storage food, just go here and click my Patriot Supply. And there's a lot of other stuff in here, survival items, water filtration. If you don't have water filtration, you need to get it. Also watch my videos I did a video on water filtration and water sanitation. 2 different things, Mr. Dave Hodges. Some people seem to get confused about that. So, and you can check out air purification if you need that. I even show you how to do it from plastic bottles. And I also survey a lot of other things. And I tell you why the water filters alone don't cover everything. That's why you need to sanitize, not just purify. All right, NATO will boost defense spending to help back Ukraine. But some of the countries are having issues with it. That's why they say the math is tricky. In any event, guys, so here's what they're saying. This is where they're thinking the war is going to go for a long term. If it don't go nuclear, if it goes nuclear, all bets are off as to how it plays out. Why nuke when you can drop a rocket 17,500 miles an hour? Oh yeah, rods from God. Wait till you see my video I've been working on for some long time. Just haven't finished the charts for it, for why if China takes the moon and starts sending back telephone pole sized chunks from the moon from a mass driver and can start machine gun type fire on Earth from the moon at 25,000 miles an hour, watch out. Watch out. That's going to be the crux of that video. Anyway, so guys, the threat from Russia is not going away. Europe has to be serious about its own defense. Now, guys, this is one thing I've been saying. I've been bugged that the Europeans, our sunshine allies, are happy for us to defend them and spend our money and send our boys over and risk our cities getting obliterated on their behalf. But they don't even spend the same level of commitment to protect them own selves. Stuff that's their business in their backyard, they're not attending to. They're expecting us to attend to it for them, whilst they take the money they might have put in their defense to create companies to compete with us. And then they turn around and trade with people who are typically our enemies in the world, like China. And some of them are even trying to become members of BRICS. So it's like they undermine us while the whole time they're expecting us to protect them. I say they need to man up on their side and pull their own weight. And it makes me wonder why we're even in NATO ourselves. So I'm not happy, and have not been happy since the days I was in the Army over this. It's like, well, why are these guys getting such a free ride on our backs? I'm not the most appreciative person in the world on that point. as you might see and you might have heard in the past. So they need to step up. If they don't, why don't we just step out? You know, that's you know, I think Trump had it right, and maybe Trump didn't push it far enough. So at least he woke them up a little bit. Let's see. Here's an article talking about his discussion, the 155 millimeter artillery. And I think that also applies to smaller rockets for HIMARS potentially too. So they're oh, hey, Zenjamin. Well, thank you. Sold some worms from my cut. Hey, Zenjamin got worms from there. Now he sold some of them. And he's returned the favor. Well, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Good to see some of my worms come back home that way. Prep well so the Chinese troops have something to eat. Oh my gosh. Keep ourselves fat so they can eat us, right? Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, guys. You know what? I've been hearing rumors about the Chinese forces that are actually here in the States now. And one of the sources that claims to be from a reputable law enforcement source says there's 100,000 of them here. You know, they've been coming in for years, but they're really coming in droves right now. And I've got a friend who showed a video. Hey, Jojo, 5 buses coming across the Canadian border. They were all unmarked. And it's highly questionable who's in those buses. I got to know more, but I can't say it. Guys, it's just getting unhinged. I wonder if that wasn't the commanders. Russians are tapped out in Bakhmut, according to the Kyiv Post, city under Ukrainian fire control. So this is one of the most worthless cities in the world, Bakhmut. For some reasons, the Russians wanted to take it, and they dove all in for it, and they did. And it was the only major gain they had this year. But at the same time, they paid a heavy price in blood for it, but they used the Wagner to take it. And now the regular army is holding it. And Kyiv is saying, hey, the regular army there is easier to fight than Wagner was. So they're kind of boosting what Prigozhin said. I think I'm going to do a special video on Wagner, because where's Waldo? Where's Prigozhin? What is he up to? What's Wagner doing? Wagner's pulling their guys out of Africa now. Where are they going? They didn't go into Belarus. What is Wagner up to? They're still recruiting inside of Russia. So they're not exactly shutting down. And it turns out that Wagner isn't really paid for just by Russia, as some of us thought. No, Wagner has mines in Africa. They got business in Africa. Wagner is self-supporting. They have their own industry. Wagner is interesting. It's interesting that supposedly Prigozhin met with Putin, and they had a 3-hour face-to-face meeting where Prigozhin actually, pledged loyalty to Putin. Says, "Hey, I was never coming after you." But where's this really going? What is cooking? So why is this man still walking free? Normally that wouldn't happen. Typically, if you had slighted Vladimir Putin, you took some flying lessons right out of a high apartment window without any air assist devices to help you fly. You know what I mean? Anyway, so the Ukrainians are claiming they're making gains, but those are small gains, slow gains, because they got a lot to go up against there. The minefields are very horrendous. They're paying a big price. Here, investigation, EU inability to ramp up production. Well, yeah, this goes back to the ammunition thing I was talking about, guys. I stopped this article. I thought I was going to get up. And I said, the EU is having a hard time supplying the ammunition, but they just pledged to do that. So it's getting interesting. There we go. This is what they're saying here. They're facing off against Wagner's successor, the Storm Z crowd. The guys painted Z on their tanks. But here it is. This is what I thought was coming up with next. Retired U.S. General breaks down. It's so hard for Ukraine to make any push. It's because there's 20 kilometers of what, and that's because there's minefields after Wazoo. There's dragon teeth. There's trenches. I mean, there's big trenches that are just anti-tank trenches that you just can't drive across, and it's hard to build a bridge across them when you're under direct artillery fire. And they've got on top of that, then the troops got their trenches behind that and foxholes. The Russians do. So Russians have a very formidable defense line there, very formidable. And typically, when you're, the main rule of war is you don't go up against a fortified position if you can avoid it. You don't make straight frontal attacks. That was the mistake that General Lee made at Gettysburg with Pickett's charge against the protest of General Longstreet. So, and that ended Lee's army. It took couple more years for it to all wind down and they'll finally lose. But they lost so many. Look, there was 50,000 Americans lost in that battle alone, and it wasn't the deadliest battle of the war. So you think the entire Vietnam War took 53,000, just to give you a counterpoint there, so you can get some measure of how bad the war between the states was. But guys, look at this. This is what they're doing in China right now. They've got boot camps all over China, all across the country for their kindergartners. These are young kids. These are young kids. Look at these faces. They're young kids. They're wearing fatigue uniforms. Man, we didn't even wear fatigue uniforms when I was in high school ROTC. We had dress uniforms. But they are assembling and disassembling nugs. Turn that word around, you know what I'm talking about. And they're training them to put the little buttons on them to send kibbles, nug kibbles down range. Bang, bang. So, yeah, kindergartners. They are getting really serious over there. In the meantime, what are we doing with our kids here? We're telling the little boys they ought to be little girls, and little girls they ought to be little boys. Are you kidding me? This is what we're doing. And the federal government is actually spending your taxpayer money on research on expanding access to what? You see that right there? I don't even want to say this loud on this platform, guys. This is how your tax money is being spent. I don't know. Tell me if you agree with Elon Musk on this. This is Elon Musk. No, I don't sleep. You got that Russia collusion. Everybody, I don't know how Greg was alert this time of day, says Kathy. It takes me a while to put all this stuff together. I got other tasks I do. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Some channels have full-time YouTubers, but it's not me. But when you put all this stuff together, it takes hours to do the research, to find all the articles, and to string them up here for you to see, or just to discuss them even. Sometimes I'm not putting them up here, I just discuss some stuff. Lions Heart, Greg, can I still use quartz crystal after an EMP? Yeah, quartz crystal should be fine. It's the wiring and electronics you got to worry about. Now, if it's a crystal on a PC chip, yeah, it might get fried. But just a full-size quartz crystal shouldn't be an issue. So, guys, just look at how the social war is going on this. Corporate media attacking this popular movie that's out. They're really disgusted that Disney's version of what do you call it? I can't even think of it right now. I'm getting brain locked. Sometimes I do that. I'll come back to it. Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. What was all that show? Indiana Jones. Yeah, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones just isn't performing. I always loved Indiana Jones until Disney got a hold of it. Disney will take anything and make it, yeah. And everything Disney's been doing has been flopping lately. All this woke stuff is just going broke. What do you expect? It's not what people want to see or hear. Anyway, hey, look, the United States is pretty earthquake free in the continental United States. Now, we just had a recent earthquake down here in Puerto Rico. Looks like Puerto Rico's always rocking. Virgin Islands. Look at this one. We got a big one, about a 6-pointer, I think. What is that? A little better than 6 point. That is 6.6. Antigua and Barbuda. Wow, that's a pretty good shaker down there. It makes you wonder if they'll have a volcanic explosion or something. Some of these islands down here are volcanic, but yeah, a plate moving here against other plates, and that's going to generate earthquakes. But that is both a earthquake and a volcanic zone. So let's come out here a little bit and see what's going on. Yeah, oh yeah, Alaska's rocking. Alaska's always got Ecuador, looks like. Those aren't big ones though. Yikes. Philippines has got a good size one there, 5.0. Spot in Turkey. Xinjiang up here where the Uyghurs are got a 4.5. All right, guys. So there you are with that. Windy. Vermont and eastern New York is getting hammered. The Hudson River's got a 1,000-year flood up there. their houses have been washed away. Let the wicked practice wickedness and the righteous practice righteous. There you go, Arnold. You got that right. Indiana Jones. That's what I was trying to say, Tiffany. Occasionally I get a brain lock. When I was younger, I used to say, I can't wait till I get older, so I got an excuse for this. I don't know, it may actually be worse now. I don't know. Anyway, I got the excuse at least now. That's the advantage of getting older. We got the excuse. All right. See what it's looking like down in the Panhandle, where Survival Living's from. It's 68 here tonight. It's supposed to get down to 61, 62, maybe even 59 degrees. We're about to be cool here, cool summer night. Must be all that global heating they're talking about. Yeah, it's going to get really cool. 77 in Crestview, Panama City is 80. Scroll over here to Dallas area, 84. I just shipped, I'm trying to fill some back orders from Worms. I just shipped the last back order to Texas today. Phoenix is 100 degrees right now. The Flagstaff is 66. And I'll get people here from Arizona. Where's Jesse? I haven't seen Jesse in a few videos in here. Where's Jesse at? All right. This is hot down in here, but you get up to Snowflake, it's 80. Well, that's pretty warm. Actually, it's unusual. It's actually warmer in Snowflake than it is here right now. In general, Snowflake is cooler. All right, Sub-Zero is hot here in Gilbert. Chandler, all right, he's in Arizona. Yeah, look at that. 100 in Phoenix, Santan Valley, 98, Tucson, 88. But Phoenix is a huge heat island, guys. Buckeye, 100. A lot of asphalt and stuff here in Phoenix, heated up, concrete. Some places are hot, they put concrete on the roads instead of asphalt. You see a lot of that in Houston area. Concrete roads. Las Vegas is 98. Los Angeles is only 66, guys. Santa Ana, 64. How about that? Let's come back out. We'll go up to Alberta. We got Chewy weather in the house tonight. He's up in Oregon. Medford, 64. 61 in Eugene. I had a pickup truck fixed in Eugene one time because I blew a speedometer cable out in Yukon territory, and I couldn't get the part for it till I got in the States. And I went about, after living for 2 years, 100 miles from nearest red light, to stop in Vancouver or Seattle. No, I waited. I got down to a smaller town. I drove through Portland. When I got to Eugene, I thought, I feel like I can pull over here and deal with it. Living 100 miles from a red light for over a year, it made me a little skittish about getting off the road in those big cities. I stayed on the freeway and went right through. Wow, you got some rain up there in Alberta. That's good. Maybe I'll knock the fires down some. And the temperatures aren't so bad, 60s and 50s. Now, Arnold's in the house. I saw him will be a 65 in Lansing. Okay. Slave Lake, 62. Fox Lake, 62. Okay, it's warmer up here. High level, and Zana, 66. Fort Nelson is 60. All right, back out. Let's go to Fort Greeley, Delta Junction area where I lived for a couple of years. Way up north. Delta Junction, 68. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. 68 in Delta Junction, Alaska. 66 in Fairbanks. What is it here? It's probably still daylight up there. We're the same temperature in Huntsville, Alabama as Delta Junction, Alaska. That's funny. That is a funny. That's cool outside. Nice, cool summer night here. Got some rain there in Kansas. That'll help the wheat out there. That's some plains right here. That's some eastern Colorado and western Kansas is pretty flat. You get a little hilly in here though. All of Kansas is not flat. Chewy, well, there you are. I've been covering the progress of wildfire in Northeast Oregon for the last 2 days. Good to see you, Chewy. Landslides took out 12 homes in the city you moved away from in California. Wow, Jason. Good thing you're out of there. Look at Hudson Bay. You got a good storm up there. I bet the sea state there on the bay is pretty interesting. I wouldn't want to be there in a boat. Would not want to be there in a boat. That's a big sea. That's like an ocean. Yes, sir. Let's go down. What do we got from Australia in the house tonight? Usually got somebody from Australia, New Zealand. 99 degrees tomorrow. Wow, David. Where you at, David? You know, it's wintertime down under. Birdsville, 70. Sydney, 64. Canberra, the capital, is 55. Perth is 66. About the same as it is here. Melbourne, 61. 55. Hobart, Tasmania is 53. New Zealand, Auckland, 55, but down here in Dunedin is 44. Christchurch, 46. Wellington, 50. That's not bad. I guess it's daylight over there now. It's probably gets colder at night. So I think I just skipped ahead. Skip back. All right, we'll go to Europe here real quick, and we're going to get out of here. We'll call it a night here in a little bit. All right, it's London is 64, Glasgow is 57, Dublin's 57. All this is 57 right here. Inverness 55. Well, let's have a look at Lithuania. Vilnius is 62. That's where the POTUS is right now. Kyiv is 66. Moscow is 57. There you go, folks. It's 80 right there in the center of Italy. Rome is 80. I've been to Torino, also known as Turin. I saw the Shroud of Turin when I was there. And Turin is 79 degrees. Oh, they're using the Roman name. So Turin was a Roman name. The Italians typically call it Torino. So they got listed as Turin now on there. 79. All right, folks. That's enough of that. Space weather. Man, we got this big sunspot. Said they saw it from the rover on Mars. That sunspot is so big. Sea state now, the waves are, or what, John? Best is got script news that just information about decoy tanks. Ukraine could use inflatable tanks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we studied decoys when I was in the military. That's a popular thing to use, you know, to try to fake out weapons. But they got to be really good decoys because video systems and weapon systems, especially the drones, is really good these days. So your decoys, you know, you'll want to camo them and just like you would a tank. All right, let's have a look at the sun here. That's a big sunspot, but it don't have a counterpart unless when it splits, maybe it will get positive and negative or north and south aspects. So if it does that, this could be a beast. It's coming toward us. It could grow. Maybe other sunspots pop out. That could be a very dangerous storm. It could really throw some big stuff at us. So we keep an eye out for the sun. Look at the aurora. You see, Alaska's daylight. This map right here is really showing us how the world's looking right now. All that is daylight, and down here is dark. This is the halfway point, roughly, right here, right now. What's night, midnight, roughly. Let's see, daylight is rushing to the east coast here. Maine will be in daylight soon. That's a pretty good aurora there. Pretty good aurora. But you ain't going to sit in Alaska because it's daylight. Hey, Arnold, Arnold Smith, can you see any of this aurora where you're at? He's up in Alberta. So we're talking about a G1 magnetic storm, I believe. I think that's what I saw in here somewhere. Yeah, G1 class geomagnetic storms are possible on the 13th of July. That could cause some radio disruption, but that's not going to take our grid out. So to say this sunspot, this big one is splitting. So it's got a light bridge in there, whatever that is. All right, bugs in space, wouldn't you know it? Asteroids. We had one come within 1 lunar distance, but this was a small one, 7 meters. That could be a rocket part. I see the smaller ones like that. I want, especially if they're relatively low velocity. This is the lowest velocity on here. Let's see, 3.2. So I'd expect this one to have an orbit 13 meters close to Earth. It's a recent find. That's a 23 date. So let's orbital viewer. All right, Earth's orbit is blue, and you can see it's pretty close to Earth's orbit. What did I say? How do I know that? Low velocity, relative velocity. Some of these go way out. There's a biggie. You wouldn't want to meet that guy. Fortunately, it's going to be a long way from the Earth when it goes by, almost 16 lunar distances away. That one would make a bad day if it were to hit. We don't know. There's no known large asteroids that we know of that are going to hit Earth in the next 100 years. Their orbits change sometimes from time to time, so it might be hard to predict exactly. Nothing is coming close in the next month, okay, guys? So there's nothing to worry about here. I don't care what Israeli News Live cries about. You ain't got to worry this month about anything hitting us. In any event, there's a small one, 5 meters. Oh, yeah. You see this one right here? I saw an article on this one. Said asteroid the size of 100 hot dogs is coming toward Earth. 100 hot dogs. What's going to pass us a long distance? Don't that make you feel threatened to know that there's an asteroid 100 hot dogs wide coming at you? Well, I figured we could end the night's video on a laugh, and that's a good laugh, right? Stop screaming. Bada bing. Alrighty, folks. 562 meter down. Yeah, that's over 1/2 kilometer. That would definitely do more than level a large city. That would be a bad day. That would be a really bad day. David Potter, I'm about halfway between Tulsa and Joplin, Missouri. Hey, David. All right, very good. I got a friend over in Joplin. I got a friend in that area. You may not be too far from him. He's in a retirement home over there, though. I met him up in Alaska. He came down here for a while. In any event, okay, guys, tell us where you're from. Indeed, reporters don't know the difference. All right, let me see what everybody's saying. I'm going to take the laptop here and kind of scroll through it, see what kind of comments I've been missing. No, Granny Lana. Well, she's having a hard time finding the notifications. Do you have any thoughts about these clouds that Lee showed near Ketch Bridge? No, I haven't seen that. The Great Strait Bridge? No, I haven't seen those clouds. Don't know what they are. Not even seen them. Yeah, I've been watching me. Queensland. Healer don't go outside. Really? Dog, you got a healer and it's scared or something? Lady Kicks 36 says, I may agree with the one statement, but otherwise, Elon Musk should be obvious. Well, they know how to disassemble hand nugs. There are 8-year-olds trained for this. Yeah, we train kids on that stuff. China got to be friends with oh yeah, Jesse. Mexican cartels. I've been telling you that, guys. Guys, fentanyl. It's coming to the United States across the southern border via the drug cartels. It comes from China. China's supplying the drug cartels. The drug cartels are making a killing on it. And it's also killing. I gotta be careful to say, I'll be in trouble here on this platform. We've lost last year 107,000 people with fentanyl. China knows what they're doing. That, tell me, is that not a war on American people already? And it's because our border is wide open. Wide open. And drug cartels are making a fortune on it. And they're trading and got close relationships with China. And they're armed to the teeth. What do you think about that? I'm going to talk about that some more, but I got to be careful on this platform when I talk about sex science. So Yet they want to leave the border wide open. We need help. I have nothing against Mexican people. A lot of some of the best workers you find anywhere are Mexican. There's a lot of good people down there. A lot of Mexicans have strong family values. Strong. But, you know, we get a whole lot of the ones that are the ones that are making money on selling stuff that ought not be coming here. Whether it be people or drugs. The things they trade are horrendous. So, but all because that way, you know, some people hope that that wide open door will change the political balance in this country. So they just let that door swing wide open. Wide open. Hey, John. It's a war against Christianity and conservatives. Amen. Well, the cartels took it up. Yeah, they get the stuff from you know who. Sure enough. And China knows what they're sending over there. China knows what they're sending. Do you doubt that? Do you really doubt that? Why? It ain't because they love us. It ain't because they love us, my friends. 99 compliant. Hey, Angela, how you doing? Rochelle, how you doing? I have nothing against anyone, but we have laws which are subverted. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I got nothing against immigration, but we need to know who's coming across. We need to vet them very carefully. Apparently, we've let a lot of stuff in this country that ought not be here. Drugs is one of them, but that's not the only thing. You should have seen my video I posted recently about special forces coming from China into the United States. Well, I got some other independent sources that claim that is exactly what's here in large numbers. Our infrastructure is at risk. We go to the war with China on day one, it's going to be mayhem right here. Unlike World War I, unlike World War II, it all took place overseas. Guys, a few small teams, a very few small teams could wreak havoc on the United States by attacking certain key infrastructural items. You hear me talk about the power grid quite often and the big substations, but it also applies to the dams, especially the ones way upstream, which if they fail, are going to affect the ones downstream and on down. And what's on those lakes that are where the dams are protecting and supplying water for? Nuclear power plants. Yeah, you could have a wave come through, Fukushima style, washing over them, knocking out their control systems, knocking out their cooling systems, just like in Fukushima. And then once the dams are broken, the water recedes, they lose their cooling water. It's not a pretty picture. It's not a pretty picture. What are we doing? Why aren't we trying to secure things? Makes you wonder about that Deagle report for 2025, don't it? That might have been optimistic. Might have been optimistic. So guys, if you don't, trains, planes, and automobiles, all at risk, Startle Mouse, all at risk. It's too easy to derail trains, too easy. You can buy the derailers off the internet. Yeah, and they're not that expensive. And there's other ways to derail trains, plenty of ways. Just a handful of operatives, special forces type here in the United States could do horrendous damage, unimaginable damage. The kind of numbers I'm hearing is like an army. It's scary. This is why you need to get ready. Oh, yeah. And what does the FBI say the main terrorism threat in America is? They don't talk about any of that. No. They talk about you. What's our government doing to help us? Throwing the borders wide open. What are they doing? Check out, go to Freedom Restoration Foundation.org. I'll leave the links to that. And the bottom of any of my videos, I'll try to post it tonight to this one. Pray. There you go, Lions Heart. There you go. Sad times. Yeah, we are we could be headed to some serious trouble really soon. You need to fortify your home and have a really good bug out location and a good way to get there. You might need to start practicing how to live out in the woods, to hide, to become one of these stealth campers, stealth maneuvers, gray man, all that stuff. It's time to start thinking about that stuff. It's time to prep as well as you can, but also figure out how to get by. You might be able, hey, they say you only should carry 10% of your body weight on a backpack. That ain't a lot. So you better choose wisely what you take with you and know how to use it to survive for the long term. Think about these things. Start going camping, do some things, start practicing a little bit. Get ready. Get ready. Hey, camping's fun, fishing's fun, hunting's fun. You can make it an adventure. Some of these things that you would do to practice and build the skill sets you need. Gardening is very therapeutic. But if you're worried about your losing your garden, there's something called guerrilla gardening. That's where you plant stuff all over the place. Consider that. Start forming your survival tribes. Go to survivaltribenetwork.com. Wisely, I'll pay for that site for our community to be able to go in and do self-organization survival tribes. Go in there, and once you join it, start contacting people in your area and see if y'all can form up some kind of groups. Now, a lot of people are making this. We've had several people join by, and you need to go the next step. We're running out of time, guys. Time is getting short. Remember, Klaus Schwab wants his jobber in place by 2030. We got less than 7 years. It's kind of like the tribulation period. Are we already in the tribulation? I don't know, guys. It's beginning to smell really fishy. That's all I can say. I'm in a desert. Yeah, before I bug out. Oh, John. Well, you might be in your bug out location, John. That's what I'm thinking about doing. What did Lion's Heart say? Got to be strong, physically, mentally, yeah, spiritually. You got to stay centered. Stay centered. Stay centered, folks. Don't lose it. And don't lose your head. If you lose your head, you might literally lose your head. Don't panic. The more prepped you are, the less inclined you would be to panic. Don't panic. Be prepared, not scared. All righty, folks. I think I've said enough for one night. Everybody tell me where you're from, and we're about to go. Just roll where you're from, and we're going to call it a night. Prepper out in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, yeah, you need Prepper. Well, John, go in and join that group. Yeah, I'm not eating them. I can use them for fishing. Why would I eat them? For growing my garden. I'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I shall fear no evil, for I'm the baddest. There you go, Brian. John, I got my sprouts. There you go. They better bring a boat and a guide. There you go, Swamp Belle, down in Louisiana. Yeah, you're in a good spot. All right, North Carolina, Greensboro. Very good. We're resting New York. We got, oh, shoot, Australia, says Rodney. Mississippi Gulf Coast. Get out of the cities. You're right, Natman's wife. Cook County, Illinois. Well, you're in a big place. Big city. Get out of the cities, Robert Hodges. Cities are a bad place to be. Copperopolis, Northern California. Hey, Tiffany. Moreno Valley, California. About 2 more solar panels. Very good, David. Maryland, Oklahoma, Anchorage. All righty. Well, you're a pretty good sized city there. Keith in Arizona, 6,800 feet. Very good. St. Louis. Yeah, I don't know. St. Louis is not a place I'd want to be. Condo on Mars sounds good. There you go, Jason. Hey, tell me that maybe Elon's on to something. We have the Jesus March here in Portland Saturday. Good. There are plants that grow in the heart. Yeah, okay. Trees. There you go. Not spiritual repair, nothing else. There you go, Kathy. You got to get right with the Lord. Everyone is likely low in magnesium. That's true. That's why I eat tree nuts. Eat stuff from trees and use a stuff from trees and rock dust in your garden, guys. Help make up for that. Give a closing prayer. Yeah, I'm really needing to go, but I tell you what, guys. All right, so everybody, we'll do a closing prayer here. So just do this. Leave in here your prayer request, and everybody look at it real quick. If you got a particular prayer request, we'll pray. We always pray for Granny Lana and her granddaughter Kelly. We're going to pray for Chewy. Chewy Weather has had 3 strokes, guys. So we're going to pray for him. Our old friend Randy Blight used to come here a lot. He's kind of at the end, heading toward the end of his life, guys. He's got dementia now. And pray for Randy Blight and particularly his wife Susan. So New Days is about to go into surgery real soon. We need to pray for her and Miss Maype, the lady she's been taking care of. Paula Fowler. Oh, well, thank you, Lions Heart. Bet you're prepping. They're prepping big time. Well, thank you, Melanie. President Brazil is one of the founders of BRICS. Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right, John. BRICS isn't going to help us any. Keith in Arizona. All right. All right, folks. Let's do a quick prayer. Pray for world peace, and let's pray that this meeting that's about to commence in Vilnius, Lithuania, don't lead to crazy mania. Let's pray that it don't lead to something that's going to affect us here, but I'm afraid it will. All right, prayers for the world. That's right. Cool heads prevail. That's what we need, Jason. Amen to that. All right, good folks. Just a quick prayer. Amen. If you're new to the channel, I wonder why I wasn't praying out loud. It's not a religious channel. I'm not here to tell you how to pray. I'll leave that to you. Why we pray is because we're family. You guys that come in here, we've been hanging together for a long time. We're family. And family prays for family. But just remember, get ready. Eyes wide open and head on a swivel. This world's full of hatred. It's the last thing it needs. We need to combat that as much as we can. As light dispels dark, love dispels hate. Light and shine your love light in the world. And stay centered, my friends. Flash Scout Survival says, stay frosty. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Super Chat. Yeah, we got Super Chat now. Thank you for Super Chat. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody that's in here watching. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all that gave me thumbs up. Hey, we got 184 in the room and only 151 thumbs up. Guys, my algorithms really need help. They stomp this channel down. The more thumbs up we get, the better. Share the videos. Because I got a lot of videos in here that, one, tell people, trying to convey to people why it's so important to prep, why the situation we face It's truly dire. Why? We just really need to get ready. That's important. But I also got videos about how to grow food. I got videos on how to raise worms. I got videos on quite a few things. Wild edibles, wild medicinals. I covered that in my channel. Purifying and sanitizing water, how to survive EMP, how to survive nuclear radiation. I cover all that stuff. It's all in my older videos. So watch those guys. Share them. Watch them and share them. Amen, Rochelle. Love and light. Lion's heart. Well said, Greg. Peace, love, and light. Well, thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, folks. Our tribe. There you go, Nightman's wife. Jesse, John. All right. Let's see. John, good to see you. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here.